Welcome to Sumita Roy's English Classroom. Here we have another video on a very inspiring life. You learn about the life, but you learn English from it. Because I have been telling you again and again in all the 175 videos already on the channel that learning from a context is the best way of learning English. You can learn grammar and you can learn vocabulary from the videos which are already there, but that is only the foundation. The real structure of your language, your speaking and your writing comes only from context. Context is some story, some incident, somebody's life, or some conversation. These are the best ways of learning both grammar and vocabulary. Also, since you can see it on your screen, you also learn spelling and you learn punctuation. As I read out to you, you learn pronunciation also. Today we have the life of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, a very famous person, globally known for his greatness. We also learn about how he supported those who required help. All these points we will see in the slides. For each of the slides, there are many of them, I have underlined a few words. And these words we need to know the meanings of. If you find other difficult words, you can also note them down. But please maintain a diary. Please maintain a book or a file in your computer or in your smartphone where you write down new words, you write down their meanings, and you try to practice them by using them as often as you speak. Whenever you speak and you require that kind of a word, use the word which you are learning. In this way, you learn much better. Rather than learning 100 words per day or 20 words per day, like a parrot you memorize. You don't learn how to use them. That is what we require now. So in this video, you will see for each slide, I'm not only going to read it, but I'm going to tell you the meanings also. If there are difficult structures, I'm going to talk about that also. All this will happen when you see the script in front of you in the slides. So let us begin to listen to the inspiring life of B.R. Ambedkar, and let us learn from this life not only English but also values and good qualities. Let us begin the inspiring life of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. A person who suffered many hardships from childhood but overcame them all to become one of the greatest personalities of modern India is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He lost his mother when he was a child. His family was not only poor but also belonged to a caste which was not accepted in society. Instead of losing the fight against all odds, this great person showed that when you have the will, you can win any battle in life. Now look at the word hardships, which is underlined. Hardships is difficulties or suffering. People who have no money, people who have various other problems in life. That is what hardships is. Then you have the sentence, not only but also. In conjunctions I told you, his family was not only poor but also belonged to a class which was not accepted in society. So here we have a conjunction which is a paired conjunction, not only but also. It's a long sentence. You can cut this sentence into short forms by saying his family was poor. They also belonged to a caste which was not accepted by
society, accepted in society. In this way, you can make it into two sentences also. Then you have again another phrase which is underlined, against all odds. This is an idiom, against all odds. That is fighting with difficulty, hardship, and winning. That is what we have here. Against all odds implies that it seems to be never going to, it's not a possibility. Something looks impossible. But what he made, Dr. Ambedkar made it possible by winning the battle of life. That is what we find here. B.R. Ambedkar, or Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, was a famous economist. He is known as the architect of the Indian Constitution. He was also a social reformer. He worked for the upliftment of the downtrodden and helped people in need. As an influential writer, he wrote many books. He was active in politics. He became the Law and Justice Minister in the first cabinet of Jawaharlal Nehru. Now you see, many facts are given about Dr. Ambedkar here. First is, he was the architect. Architect is the person who designs. So the Indian Constitution was designed by Dr. Ambedkar. Then you have the word upliftment. Upliftment. It is a noun which means to raise somebody. Uplift means somebody who's at a lower level, somebody who's in difficulty. You raise them higher. Downtrodden, people who are not given any importance, people who are at the lowest level in society, those are downtrodden. Trod means to step, down means underneath. So somebody on whom you are stepping, that is the meaning, These two words make a single word, downtrodden. Influential. I already gave you the title of the video, inspiring. Inspiring, influential. That means somebody who influences others, somebody who transforms others, who makes others better. So that is influential. These days in YouTube we have a term, influencer. So who are you? YouTube influencer. That means you have millions and millions of people following you. So from that, the adjective form influential. Respectfully called Babasaheb, Dr. Ambedkar was born in a military cantonment town of Madhya Pradesh on 14th April 1891. He was the youngest of 14 children. His father was an army officer. Their mother tongue was Marathi. Within a few years of his birth, his father retired, and soon after, the child lost his mother. He and some of his siblings were looked after by an aunt and lived in poverty. Poverty I haven't understand. Poverty means a very, very poor family, completely having no money at all. Cantonment is a military base, a place where, a camp where people on the armed forces stay. These are the two words here which are important. Then mother tongue, you can see how it is written. Mother-tongue, that is how it's written. Then you have the word, he was the youngest of 14 children. So you can say the family had 14 children and Ambedkar was the youngest of the 14 children. You can frame the sentences differently. But young Bhimrao was very good in studies. He was the only one among his brothers and sisters to pass all examinations with excellent result. When he learnt English, there was a celebration in his whole community. In spite of the discrimination shown against the caste into which he was born, Ambedkar became the only untouchable to enroll in the prestigious Elphinstone High School. Now you see that we have the word discrimination, which is underlined. Discrimination is to make a difference. Rich students or students of the higher castes, different. Poor students, different. Men and women, different. This society might have various types of differences, and that kind of difference which is negative is called discrimination. Then you see punctuation. The word untouchable is within single inverted commas. Untouchable. That means somebody whom you cannot touch. That is what it means. So this was a terrible practice, very cruel practice which was there. But he did not mind. He joined the prestigious is famous, a college which is well known, which is known all over. That is the prestigious. Look at the spelling. Prestigious spelling is very often people make mistakes in that. Now look at the sentence. When he learnt English, there was a celebration in his whole community. People were not learning English at that time, and in his community nobody was learning. He learnt English. So even then, English was so important. A marriage was arranged for Ambedkar when he was just 15 years old. A year later, he passed the matriculation examination. He was also the first from his caste to go to college. He got a degree in economics and political science from the University of Bombay. After this, he took up employment with the Baroda state government. So at a young age, he took up a job. Employment, job. Employ is, the verb form. And employable, adjective. Employment, noun. You can use this word. You can also note down all the facts which we have studied about him. When was Ambedkar born? Where was he born? How many brothers and sisters did he have? And where did he study? What, the community celebrated his learning of which language? All these questions, if you ask yourself, you will become better. From early in life, Ambedkar faced many problems of discrimination. He recollected how he was not allowed to drink water from the common water tap in his school. As he belonged to a community known as untouchable in those days, he and people of his caste were not allowed to touch anything which the other castes would be using. This left a deep mark on him, and he worked hard lifelong to end this cruel practice. Now these words are all what we have used earlier. Discrimination, untouchable. I hope you remember the meanings, because when they come a second time, you should not again have to look for the meaning. You can easily remember what meaning we had. Otherwise, go back, listen to it again, and come here. As I told you, this was a cruel practice, and that was called untouchability. At the age of 22, Ambedkar received the Baroda State Scholarship. This gave him the opportunity to go to Columbia University in New York to do his post-graduation. He got his degree in 1915 with economics major. His other subjects were sociology, history, philosophy, and anthropology. Years later, he also received a doctorate from Columbia University. Doctorate is the highest degree, PhD. Other than that, the other words are quite simple here. Opportunity is a chance, is somewhere where you can do well. Then all the subjects which are mentioned, you must remember what all subjects he chose. He was a great reader, as we will read later. So he enjoyed many different disciplines. Ambedkar also studied at the London School of Economics, but lack of funds forced him to return to India in 1917. The next year, he took up a job as professor of political economy in Mumbai. In 1920, he got financial assistance from Chhatrapati Sahuji Maharaj of Kolhapur and went back to London to complete his studies. He received his DSc in economics in 1923. So again, we see that he is working and studying parallelly. He got a job and then he went and did his post-graduation. Then he had to come back, and he also went to London where he had no money. Lack of funds means less money. Then his friends also helped him. That is not there, of course, here. But we know that with the help of various people and with the help of money which Chhatrapati Sahuji gave him, he went back and got his degree from London School of Economics. After returning to India, Dr. Ambedkar started the Bahishkrit Hitakarini Sabha, Society for the Welfare of the Ostracized, to demand justice and equal access to public resources for the historically oppressed castes of the Indian society. In the same year, he entered the Bombay Legislative Council as a nominated member. Now here you have the word Bahishkrit Hitakarini Sabha in Hindi, translated Hindi or Marathi, translated into society for the welfare. Welfare is good, to help somebody. And ostracized are people who are thrown out of society, who are not allowed to enter the mainstream. Then oppressed, people who are tortured by others, people who have no power. The powerful people do not allow them power, that is oppressed. Nominated, we have two varieties in which you can reach the legislative council or assembly or parliament. That is, one is elected and the other is nominated. Nominated means your name is sent and you get selected. But election means people give you votes and then you get elected. In 1935, Dr. Ambedkar was appointed as the principal of Government Law College, Mumbai, where he was teaching as a professor since 1928. Thereafter, he was appointed as the Labour member in the Viceroy's Executive Council. In 1946, he was elected to the Constituent Assembly of India. So you can see so many years are mentioned. If you make a chart of all the years, starting from the year of his birth and then going on, each year which is mentioned, that will be a wonderful practice for you, because you listen to the video many times, you make this, then you give a historic account of Ambedkar's life, where you say Dr. Ambedkar was born on such and such a day, he got his graduation on such and such a day, then he came, he got his job on such and such a date, and so on. That will be a very interesting chart, so you can speak about him. Use your English practice by speaking about all the dates which are mentioned here. On 15th August 1947, he took oath as the first law minister of independent India. Subsequently, he was elected chairman of the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly and steered the process of drafting of India's constitution. In spite of his ill health, Dr. Ambedkar put his heart and soul into the work. He has been praised as the artist without whom the Constitution would not have been completed. So Constitution, as you know, is the most important book for a country. So you can see how much he helped. Subsequently means afterwards. After that, after becoming minister, the next step was he became the chairperson. Usually we say chairman, but today we don't use man, woman in words. We are trying to have a language which is gender neutral. So instead of saying chairman, we say chairperson. You must notice such things when you are reading. Then steered, steering. I'm sure all of you know in the car you have a round thing that is steering. So steer means to take forward, to lead, to take it in the right direction. So he steered the drafting. The drafting is the first writing of the Constitution. Then you have, in spite of his ill health, although he was not well, that is how you can express. He did it wholeheartedly. Heart and soul here you can replace by saying wholeheartedly. You are learning heart and soul means full energy, full commitment, great work. And then they called him an artist because the Constitution is so beautiful. After the first general election in 1952, he became a member of the Rajya Sabha. He was also awarded an honorary doctorate degree from Columbia University in the same year, 1952 that is. In 1953, he was also awarded another honorary doctorate from Osmania University, Hyderabad. That is my own university. He was posthumously given the highest Indian civilian award, Bharat Ratna, in 1990. The word honorary has come twice. I've just underlined it once. Honorary is not when you submit a thesis and get. That is a formal degree. An honorary degree is given to respect you, to respect the person, to honor the person. And posthumously means after his passing away. He passed away long back and the award was given much later. That is what we say, posthumous, after death. Dr. Ambedkar wanted to ensure equal opportunities for the Dalits as the caste came to be known. Therefore, he started thinking in terms of conversion. On 14th October 1956, he, along with more than 3 lakh members of his community, converted themselves to Buddhism. He considered Buddhism as the most modern and rational religion. Soon after this, he breathed his last in the same year. Now you see, breathed his last implies he passed away. He left his physical body. Then you have the word ensure. Ensure is to guarantee, to give for certain. Then conversion. Conversion here means changing from one religion to another. He was born into the Hindu religion, then he took up Buddhism as his religion, and all his followers also did the same. Dr. Ambedkar gave many speeches, especially on social reform and justice for all. These are available today in his collected works. He wrote some important books such as Annihilation of Caste, Who Were the Shudras, Castes in India, Their Mechanism, Genesis and Development, the Buddha and his Dhamma. Now these names of books, as you can see, if they are long books, they are in a different print that is called italics. On your laptop you can easily find it. Control I, if you press, you get this kind of font. Then you also have the word, annihilation. Annihilation is to remove or destroy. So this is what, one of his books. Genesis is in the name of another book. Genesis is the beginning. Genesis is the birth. So we have all these ideas in his books. Buddha and Dhamma, that is how the spelling is in the Pali language. So he uses that spelling, not Dharma. Dr. Ambedkar had knowledge of around 9 languages like Hindi, Pali, Sanskrit, English, French, German, Marathi, Persian and Gujarati. He read widely. His personal library was one of the largest private libraries. He was interested in many disciplines and all these books were a part of his collection. He encouraged everyone to read widely for self-improvement. Now you can see Dr. Ambedkar has knowledge of around 9 languages. You can change that and say Dr. Ambedkar knew 9 languages. And then you can make a list of the languages which he knew. In this way, you can change the sentences. He read widely. You can combine with and encouraged everyone to read widely for self-improvement. He read widely is far away. Last sentence, if you combine with it, you are getting different ways of expressing yourself. So not only are you talking about his life, but you are also learning to construct sentences to increase your vocabulary and so on. Today, B.R. Ambedkar is a global figure, admired for his democratic model of growth and development of the nation. He was concerned more for the liberation of the oppressed and marginalized to establish constitutional democracy, where everyone can live with dignity, enjoying justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Now, these are the 4 words that are there in our constitution. I'm sure you recite the pledge and you know how these words come. Liberation is freedom, to set free. People who are marginalized means kept on the margins of society, who are not allowed to come into the middle of society. So marginalized. Oppressed we have come across already. Dignity. Dignity is self-respect. A person who can respect himself or herself. That is dignity. So he wanted everybody to have it. That is why we call it democratic model. Democracy is something which belongs to everyone, the common people. That is how we have the summary of what he did and how important this young boy who was born in a poor family became so great.
I'm sure all of you have learnt many things from this inspiring life. Now sit down and try to talk about Ambedkar's life in your own words. Use many of the words which you have just learned from the video. Use structures of your own. Try to make sentences which mean the same but structurally they are different. There is a video on structures of English. You can look at that video and then frame sentences based on the facts which are given. This is a life which should inspire you not only to learn English but also to become a good human being. All the best and thank you.